Hello and a very warm welcome to the business program. And new regulations aimed at helping Russia to attract more investors have been spelled out by President Medvedev. He calls for reducing the influence of state companies on the investment climate. To discuss this, I'm joined by David Denning of Client Services, Head of Client Services at Vermouth Asset Management. Mr. Denning, thank you very much for joining us. So let me just remind you of these changes. He proposed to eliminate government ministers from the board of directors of state companies, also to push privatization of state companies in the next 3 years, and to make information about these companies more open. So my first question is going to be, do you think that will help to attract foreign investors to Russia?
Well, I think in general right now the investment climate in Russia is improving in the eyes of foreign investors. These three initiatives that he mentioned yesterday are very positive words. But again, the problem that Russia has with these kind of issues is that they need to be followed by actions. I think that it's very positive to have independent directors. I think it's also a kind of a promotion of this initiative to increase the appetite for Russian equities for foreign investors. And so Vermouth Asset Management is very supportive of this.
We know that Russia is considered to be a bit undervalued compared to other BRIC countries. Why do you think there aren't enough people investing in Russia now?
I think currently, after the 2008 crisis, it was really hard to attract investors back to Russia. A lot of investors were burned. There was a lot of very bad stories on the corporate governance side. But I think now it's starting to pick up. We've seen a couple investors into our funds late 2010 and now early 2011. And I think just because of a couple of global themes that are happening right now, Russia has become a place for people to reallocate their money. So you'll definitely see that in the next coming year through 2011 and hopefully into 2012. I think drivers going forward for Russia are many. There's 2014 Olympics, 2018 World Cup. These are events that hopefully will really change the country and the investment appetite amongst foreign investors.
How important is getting Russian companies to be more transparent to their shareholders? Is that the factor that really drives investors away currently?
I would say that transparency is huge, and along with that comes corruption. The corruption problem is obviously well known amongst all foreign investors, and that's an issue that's going to have to be tackled. I wouldn't want to have to tackle that job single-handedly, so it's probably going to take some very big initiatives, and that means that punishing people that have committed corrupt acts, and basically making sure that these companies are transparent. You have to get independent directors in there. I think that's a great initiative, and Medvedev seems to be on the right track.
And wrapping up, where do you see the upside for investment in Russia?
Right now, we see the upside in the electricity sector in Russia. There's a big reform happening in the electricity sector, which we are part of. We definitely have our experts on the ground that have been following the sector for 12 years now, and we see a lot of opportunity there. The companies are trading at multiples very low compared to other emerging markets, for example, in Brazil, where a similar sector reform is happening. And we see that as one sector that we're very concentrated on and hope to make a lot of money in.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see a lot of investors flowing into Russia after these proposed after President Medvedev proposals being implemented. Okay, thank you very much. That was David Denning, Head of Client Services at Vermouth Asset Management. Thank you for your analysis. And moving on, we can have a look at the markets now. And the Asian markets closed in the black on signs that the global economy is recovering after Japan's record earthquake. The Nikkei gained almost 0.5%, and the Hang Seng closed up 0.3%. And European stocks swing between gains and losses on Thursday as banking stocks gave up early session gains ahead of the results of Irish bank stress tests. Well, the biggest decliner, though, was H&M, whose shares dropped almost 4% after its earnings missed forecast. Both the FTSE and the DAX are still flat to negative this hour. And the Russian